Yo, what's good everyone? Today I'm going to be breaking down some of my favorite cash game plays for this Week 15 NFL Draftkings main slate. Like I always do, I'm going to go position by position, highlighting my favorite plays, and then we'll wrap up the video with some honorable mentions. With that being said, let's dive right into this. And we're going to kick things off here at the quarterback position. Probably comes as no surprise, but I am willing to go back to Brock Purdy once again this week, priced at $6,800 in a matchup on the road against the Cardinals, where we need 20.4 DraftKings points for him to hit 3x value. He has now hit that number in 8 of his last 11 games, truly been playing lights out football, and this matchup couldn't be better for him to expand on that, as his Cardinals defense ranks 31st overall in defensive pass DVOA, allowing 19.3 DraftKings points per game to the opposing quarterback position, and we all know that this 49ers offense is loaded with weapons: Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, and George Kittle. And then if I'm looking to save some money off of that, I do like Matthew Stafford as well, priced at $6,000 this week in a matchup at home against the Washington Commanders, where we need 18 DraftKings points for him to hit 3x value. He's played very well here, especially as of late. In his last 3 games, he's thrown for 3+ touchdowns and hit 22+ DraftKings points in each of those games, really ever since the return of Kyren Williams. Just makes their offense a lot more explosive in general with him on the field, and this Commanders defense has truly been awful, especially ever since losing Chase Young and Montez Sweat. They rank dead last right now in defensive pass DVOA and have allowed 23.7 DraftKings points per game to the quarterback position this year. That's the second most in the NFL. Now moving on to the running backs here, and I'm going to highlight my 2 favorite running back plays this week, but I do have 2 honorable mentions that I'll talk about at the end of this video that I'm heavily considering in my cash lineup this week. But Christian McCaffrey is probably someone I'm going to lock in at $9,300. Certainly expensive, but this matchup is great against the Arizona Cardinals. We need 27.9 DraftKings points for him to hit 3x value. We know that volume is not going to be an issue for CMC. Amongst all running backs in the NFL, he ranks first in red zone touches, first in weighted opportunity, second in snap share. Plus, this Cardinals defense has not been good at stopping running backs either this year, ranking 28th overall in defensive rush DVOA, allowing 22.9 DraftKings points per game to the running back position. That's the second most in the NFL. And then the other running back that I really like here this week is Kyren Williams of the Los Angeles Rams. Now, before I put his graphic on the screen, you might be asking yourself, all right, you've highlighted Stafford, you've highlighted Purdy, now both the starting running backs in those offenses, are you going to correlate them together in the same cash lineup? Typically, that's not something I do, stacking up a quarterback with a running back in my cash lineup, but these are both instances where I do think it makes sense. For starters, both these guys, CMC and Williams, are involved enough in the passing game to where that does make sense, but more importantly, both the 49ers and Rams are implied to score 4+ touchdowns here this week, so just getting exposure to those offenses in general does make sense to me. Now, putting up the graphic here for Williams, he's priced at $7,500, again at home here this weekend against the Washington Commanders, where we would need 22.5 DraftKings points for him to hit 3x value. Now, volume has not been an issue for Williams either this year, currently ranking first among all running backs in snap share, 5th in opportunity share, averaging close to 25 touches per game and 143 total yards per game. And again, this Washington Commanders defense just isn't that great, having allowed 24.3 DraftKings points per game to the opposing running back position this year. That's the 9th most in the NFL. Now, folks, before we dive into the wide receiver plays here, if you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. We're trying to get Sly Dog Sports here to 4,000 subs by the end of 2023. Very lofty goal at this point. Only 15 or 16 days to get there. If you haven't subbed yet, though, and you can help us out, again, I would really appreciate that. Now, I'm not going to lie, when it comes to the wide receivers here this week, it's kind of brutal, and that's not to say there's not some studs on this slate. There are: Tyreek Hill, CD Lamb, Cooper Kupp, but the value just isn't there in my opinion, so I prefer to spend up for running backs and pay down at the wide receiver position, so I'm going to try and highlight a handful of those plays. Don't forget, got those honorable mentions at the end of this video, but the first one I want to highlight here is Rashee Rice of the Kansas City Chiefs, priced at $6,100 in a matchup on the road against the Patriots, where we would need 18.3 DraftKings points for him to hit 3x value. Now, he has clearly become the number 1 wide receiver in this Chiefs offense, number 2 pass catcher behind Travis Kelce. Over the last 3 weeks, he's seen a 27% target share, 34% first read share, seeing 9, 10, and 10 targets, so the volume has definitely been there for us to put him in our cash lineup. And this Patriots defense has been very mediocre at best against the pass this year, ranking 21st overall in defensive pass DVOA. The next wide receiver I got here then is Garrett Wilson of the New York Jets, and hey, believe you me, I'm not thrilled about playing any Jets players in my cash lineup, but the volume has been there for Wilson pretty much all year long. Priced at $5,800 this week in a matchup on the road against the Dolphins, where we would need 17.4 DraftKings points for him to hit 3x value. Now you can see the volume, the numbers don't lie. 29% target share, 49% air yard share, 40% first read share. It just so happens that he doesn't have the best quarterback situation, but again, volume is definitely there. And with the Dolphins being 9-point home favorites this week, you kind of have the garbage time narrative for the Jets and Wilson, trying to keep up in this game or at least play catch up. And then my favorite wide receiver play for cash games this weekend is Jayden Reed of the Green Bay Packers, priced at $4,900 in a matchup at home against the Buccaneers, where we would need 14.7 DraftKings points for him to hit 3x value. Now, he's been solid as a rookie all year long, but the volume has only increased as the season has progressed. Since week 8, he's seen a team-high 20% target share, 25% first read share, and he's also had 9 rushing attempts in his last 3 games, kind of getting a mini Deebo Samuel role, and this Buccaneers defense has not been good against the pass, allowing 40.4 DraftKings points per game to wide receivers this year, the 7th most in the NFL. Now, when it comes to the tight ends this week, I'm just looking to spend down at the position. I got 2 guys that I'm going to highlight here and then a third honorable mention at the end of this video. First one I'm going to highlight is Tucker Kraft, sticking with the Green Bay Packers, priced at $3,000 this week, again at home against the Buccaneers, where we would need 9 DraftKings points for him to hit 3x value. Now, since he's taken over as the starting tight end for the Green Bay Packers, he's seen a 13% target share and a 14% first read share. Not bad considering he's only priced here at $3,000. And this Buccaneers defense again has not been good against the pass all year long. That includes against tight ends, having allowed 13.7 DraftKings points per game to the position, the 7th most in the NFL. And then another cheap tight end that I like here this week is Chigga Okonkwo of the Tennessee Titans, priced at $2,900 in a matchup against the Houston Texans, where we would need 8.7 DraftKings points for him to hit 3x value. Now, I like the volume he's seen here in his last 3 games, a 16% target share, 15% first read share, where he's hit 8.5, 9.4, and 9.6 DraftKings points, hitting that 3x value that we need. And this Texans defense has not been good against tight ends this year, allowing 15.5 DraftKings points per game to the position. That's the 3rd most in the NFL, and the 4th most receiving yards. Now, when it comes to a defense in my cash lineup, most of you know this, I'm looking to spend down here at this position, but there's just not a lot of value, really in general, at the defense position here this week. The 3K range looks okay. I wouldn't mind going with the Los Angeles Rams at home here against the Washington Commanders. Sam Howell can put up points, but this guy takes a lot of sacks. They have one of the worst offensive lines in the NFL. So again, don't mind the Rams here at $3,100. And then the Patriots at $2,300. That's kind of the punt play for me. You could go with the Buffalo Bills as well at $2,400. Either one of those, I don't mind it, but obviously the matchup and the opponent doesn't look great. You got the Patriots playing the Chiefs, you got the Bills playing the Cowboys, but again, if I'm looking to save money there, those were the defenses that stuck out to me. And as always, going to wrap up this video here with those honorable mentions, and I have 8 that I want to highlight here today, so let's dive right into it. I do like another quarterback here if you want to save money off of Brock Purdy and Matthew Stafford. I think Joe Flacco is fine here at $5,500 at home against the Bears. Couple of other running backs that I really do like here this week: Rachaad White against the Packers, Ezekiel Elliott against the Chiefs, and then a handful of wide receivers here. Tried to highlight some value. Obviously, CeeDee Lamb expensive here at $9,200, but Elijah Moore, Wan'Dale Robinson, and Demarcus Robinson are all offering value at their prices. I like Demarcus Robinson for the Los Angeles Rams a lot more if Tutu Atwell does not play here this weekend for the Rams. And then one other tight end there in Tyler Conklin, very cheap at $3,100 and a decent matchup against the Dolphins. Alright everyone, that is going to wrap up this video here for today. As always, thank y'all for taking the time out of your day to watch the content here on this channel. If you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. Let's have ourselves a great weekend here, folks. Let's win some money on this Week 15 main slate. And in the meantime, I'm out of here.